position in Super League is linked.
So what makes the Super League so good?
Take a look at the
and it's probably one of the most unique leagues in the world.
the most immersive experience possible.
The great is the competitiveness of it, and the talent that we have now on offer.
There's nothing else in the world like it. It's the most realistic sim racing experience anywhere.
Well, it's a great night for a race and a great night to crown a champion, perhaps. We find ourselves back here in GPVWC Super League for round 15 of the 2020 Championship, and we could be crowning our Drivers' Championship at the end of this race. So, what could happen? Well, you'll have to stick with us to find out. I'm Josh Radisson, taking you to the action as always, and joining me for the first time in a long time is Mr. Big Parker Energy himself, Tom Parker. Great to have you back.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I'm very much looking forward to being here, and yeah, like I said, maybe we can crown a champion again, potentially for the second time in 2 years.
Quite so indeed. We're in the warm-up session now. We did just miss qualifying, so apologies for that. But we can tell you that on pole position is the number 2 in the Drivers' Championship, Adam Maguire, and that's going to be crucial for him because he needs a good result today. He needs second or higher to retain his hopes of being champion. If he does not finish second or higher, we will crown Yannick Bock as reigning and defending and still champion by the end of this race.
Yeah, so it's all vital for Radam to make sure he tries to finish as high as he can. Obviously, Liam Duval, a very, very good backup for him to help him in that aid. And obviously, he's done the best thing and has Silver Donus, which obviously we'll get onto that championship in a second. But yeah, they've done the best thing they can go. They can by getting a 1-2 finish. And obviously, Yoni Simracing not being here tonight, which we'll also get into later, not being here as well will help those two as well in their fight. Obviously, having one less car to deal with in their battle against the Evolution guys.
Yeah, of course, and well, Yannick Bock knows for certain that he's going to push hard if he wants to win the championship still. This is not a given by any means of the imagination. He knows he's still going to get the results if Adam Maguire is getting the results. Maguire, of course, as we know, needs first or second, and nothing else will do if he wants to win this championship. Of course, as it stands, he has himself in the bag 215 points to box 231. And that is a 16-point gap. So Maguire needs to win those 16, needs to be 16 points. Well, the only way he can do it, of course, given that third place can offer 15, the only way to do it is second or first to guarantee himself that he can be champion regardless of where. Then he has to worry about where Bok finishes as well, because if he finishes second, Bok only has to finish 14th. If he wins, Bok has to be 6th. So Yannick still has to get the results, but it's his championship to lose at the moment.
Yeah, and obviously Yannick qualifying in 5th position behind Kilk, who has done another stunning job. No, again, Right Kilk's putting his name out there for a top drive maybe for next season. In 3rd, Fabrizio Gilby in 4th for Britzy, both looking very strong again in Britzy. But yeah, Yannick is in that position, so all he needs to do really is just stay where he is on the grid, which we don't think he would do. He's usually one of these people who comes alive in the race as Yannick, so we'll have to see. But fingers crossed it's a nice clean race for these last 2 races for the championship, and we'll have to start it here. But yeah, it's nice to see some different names at the top of the near towards the top 10. Really, it's nice to see a few different names.
Yeah, it is great to see several drivers up there. Fabrizio Gobi was briefly on pole position in the qualifying session. I think he's going to start 4th though, so he will be up and about there as well, trying to pop himself a win in the bag. Another one perhaps for Abruzzi. Well, Abruzzi in a massive air quotes at the moment, because he said there is no Abruzzi logos on that car. I think the sponsorship deal has lapsed in that sense, but we will continue to refer to them as Abruzzi until told otherwise. And Yannick Bok obviously going to be up there charging for the championship. Matthew Mleinek, Giuseppe Ragusa, so great showing from both of those cars. Panzer as well, and Panzer will be going for top 5. You've got to imagine Germano Zapala aiming to impress as always, and in the top 10 for qualifying, we do not find Yerny Simicic, who by not turning up has ruled himself out of the championship. In his place is Michi Hoyer.
Yeah, Mitchie, obviously a very capable driver. We all know what he's capable of. Obviously, race winner over in the FSR World Championship. So a competent stand-in for Yerny there, and obviously he will do everything he can to try and help Brasilia confirm their 3rd place today, which they can actually do today, confirm their 3rd place in the championship. Obviously a little bit too far behind now to be winning the top honours, but yeah, they're quite a way ahead of 4th place there, G Sport, so they can confirm their 3rd place today with a good result.
Well, speaking of the top honours, it is tough at the top for the teams as well. At the moment, Adonis Engineering and Evolution Motorsports both tied on points. It is too close to call between these teams at the moment. I am pretty certain, and I would bet my house on it, that this will go down to the final round in Abu Dhabi, at least in the teams. The drivers is a completely different story, of course, given Bok's advantage that he has pulled out over the season, but the teams really is too close to call at the moment, Tom.
Yeah, so unless, I think it would require one of the teams to get a 1-2 finish, Adonis or Evolution that is, and the other team not score, and even then I don't know what it's like on countback. I don't know who's higher up in that sense, so for all we know, Adonis could do 1-2 and still not be able to win it with no points from Evolution because of the way the countback works. So unless, like you said earlier before we came on air, unless there's a walkover for some reason, that will be going down to the final race, which is nice to see.
Yeah, so the teams will be contested all the way, it seems, and the drivers obviously maybe decided this race. Circumstances obviously dependent. It may go to Abu Dhabi as well, who knows, but we could crown a champion here at the Circuit of the Americas, and it would be a great race to crown a champion in. We would have 56 laps worth of racing, and if you've got to consider, Tom, we're having 1 minute 36, 1 minute 35 laps round here. You do the maths if you want to, but that's 95 times 56 plus a formation lap. It's going to be a 1 hour and 1.5 hour affair as usual. 90 minutes until a champion is crowned, perhaps. Not going to be long now, certainly, until we find out who will be walking out as 2020 Super League champion. It may be crowned today, it may be crowned in 2 weeks' time, who knows? But until then, we seem to have lost Tom Park, unfortunately. But he will be coming back, I'm sure, before the race starts. But yeah, potential championship ramifications are rumbling here today at the Circuit of the Americas. This could get very interesting indeed. Why not give us your thoughts on who's going to win the championship in the comments? If you are watching along on the stream, welcome, of course, and feel free to share it with your friends as well. We are very interested to see what you think might be the outcome of the drivers. Will it be Yannick Bock? Will it be Adam Maguire? Will we have to wait 2 weeks to find out? Do let us know. Going to be very interesting to see what you think. And, well, our very own Twitter Supremo, Ian Harmon, is in the comments asking if the final round is in Interlagos rather than Abu Dhabi. And the answer to that question, Ian, is yes, it is. We do go to Interlagos in 2 weeks' time. That is where the teams is most likely going to be disputed over. But the drivers, obviously, the main focus is today. And, you know, looking at it from both ways, both of them would be very, very deserving champions. I believe we are rejoined by Tom Parker, who finds his way back into the commentary box now. And I was just mentioning, Tom, whether it is Adam Maguire or Yannick Bock that takes the title, both of them would be deserving champions given their achievements this year.
Yeah, they've both had. The thing is, they've both had their share of bad lucks. We've seen a couple of mistakes from them both as well. But like you said, they've been a class of the field, haven't they, all year? So Adam obviously started off the season in absolutely imperious form, didn't he? If you remember, he won, I think it was 2 or 3 of the first 4 races, and he was really looking real strong. And then Yannick had a bit of a slow start to the season. I think Evolution as a whole really did, and they've managed to really fight back quite nicely. So yeah, both drivers deserve it. Obviously, Adam Maguire coming out of nowhere, really. He wasn't really in the hunt for the top honours last year, and he's just suddenly come out of nowhere and proven himself to be worthy of winning races and potentially championships in this series. Yannick has obviously done it once before, winning the title last year at the expense of his teammate Dennis Jordan. But yeah, so yeah, both deserving. Same for the teams. Obviously, Evolution have kept their driver lineup consistent all throughout the year, and obviously they know how to win the team style, having won it last year. Adonis, obviously, they want to try and erase the memories of 2016 where they won the championship but then lost it after a post-race penalty. And I know Meadow is very, very, very keen, especially to win that. I know Liam and Adam are absolutely desperate to win it for him. So fingers crossed for them. Obviously, we're not going to have any bias in here. So obviously, we're happy to see whoever wins. Like I said, both deserving of the championship. And quite frankly, to still have the championship this close, 15 rounds in, and such a high-level competition, just goes to show that the competition here is really high. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens, really. Well, a lot of people don't like Kota. I personally love the track. It's one of my favourite tracks. But a tricky circuit today for these drivers. And obviously, it's not just a championship race we have here today. We do obviously have another race on the whole as well. Obviously, Donny's blocking out the front row. But some drivers behind him, right, Kilk and Gorby, looking to hopefully maybe get their first, and potentially their second win for Gorby, in Gorby's case, of the season.
Yeah, you got to remember as well, there are a lot of little scraps going up and down in the championship order, so everyone's going to want to get their hands in, get stuck in, get their eyes in, maybe even go for the win today, even if they're not in championship contention. You know, there are still two Super League Grand Prix to go, and winning a Super League Grand Prix is an achievement in its own right. It's mildly overshadowed by the fact that we might be crowning a champion, but of course, anyone who can, you know, take the win should absolutely do so, and we'll be giving a brief glance at the grid, obviously, as a whole, but we'll really be keeping an eye on Maguire and Bock as our main two in position. So, you know, the first blood in this, so to speak, goes to Adam Maguire, who gets the early shot in and will get himself pole position.
Yeah, but unfortunately, as the old phrase goes, you don't get points on Saturdays. So, obviously, same day here, but yeah, you don't get points in qualifying. So, obviously, it's like you said, it's first blood to Adam, but he's going to know that this isn't game over just yet. He's still got how many laps is to race tonight? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Yeah, he's got 56 laps to get through yet before he can even think of thinking ahead to Interlagos, so he's going to take it one race at a time. Obviously, same for Yannick. He knows he's got 56 laps away from potentially being crowned champion, so he's not going to go for anything silly. He's going to try and do as clean a race as he can, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, indeed. Chris Williamson, our race director, just talking the drivers through the usual, telling them that obviously the rules on various things about dry tyre compounds, got to use at least 2 or 3 dry compounds. Those outside the top 10, start on any tyre you like. If you're inside the top 10 on qualifying laps, got to start on your qualifying compound. Be careful, etc., etc. And he has a lot of work to do in his own right. It often goes underappreciated, Chris Williamson, our race director. So obviously, we do appreciate the work he does, and obviously we'd like to, take a moment just before the race starts to thank him for all his hard work, because we wouldn't be here without him.
No, we wouldn't have a car, wouldn't have a mod, wouldn't have tracks. Yeah, so Chris, absolutely vital, if not the most vital cog of the machine that is GPVWC. And yeah, everyone's very, very appreciative of the work he does. But now, yep, Mr. R Factor Man has said his bits, and I believe we're now heading to the grid.
Yep, the grid and possibly the championship deciding grid as we head into 56 laps of American racing action. And this is going to be an interesting one. So we shall see who gets themselves on that crucial first position out of the first couple of laps. It is Adam Maguire on pole position, of course, and we'll have a glance through the grid as the countdown continues to tick by. But really, this is going to be all about two drivers, Adam Maguire and Yannick Bock, in their duel for the Drivers' Championship, which may end today, may end in 2 weeks. But it's down to them to decide when it does. For now, though, we embark on our formation lap. And as we mentioned, Tom Parker, Adam Maguire on pole position from his teammate, Liam Duvall. 1-2 for Adonis. How crucial will that be for the team? Will Liam Duvall be able to do a good job at playing rear gunner for his teammate?
Yeah, so I mean, there's only so much he can do, really. So obviously, Yannick, if Yannick gets behind him into third place, for example, Adam can win the race by 4 laps and still wouldn't win the championship, would he? So I suppose there's probably their focus is probably going to be on the team championship, if I'm honest. Getting 1-2 is a perfect way to start that. But I would expect to see these guys just focusing on getting this 1-2 and then just seeing how it plays out. I mean, I think maybe from Menno's point of view, he would obviously be aiming for the teams. Obviously, drivers would be amazing for Adam, and it would be a great way to crown off the season. But just focus on getting this 1-2 today, get this great lead in the championship for them, and they can go from there.
Quite so indeed. I suppose, right, Kilton Fabrizio Gobi will want to crack at the top 2 as well. Those 2 are in 3rd and 4th. Expect them to make moves. Yannick Bock, of course. P5, reigning champion, may still be champion at the end of this race. And that will be a champion way to end the season for him, let me tell you that much. Further down the order, Jamonas Apala going to start P10. Always want to watch ever since he moved over from Cosmo YTF1 to Street Fighter. He's been setting the track alight with fastest laps and serious contendership, making his presence known as well for a potential seat for next year. Michael Francesconi, his new teammate, moving over from another to the seat formerly occupied by yourself, Tom Parker.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a better job than I can do. Yeah, bless him. Yeah, it's fine. It was fun whilst it lasted. I got a couple of points. It was fun. But interestingly, actually, on Francesconi, I was just going to mention him. Obviously, like you said, top 10 got to start on their compound of choice in qualifying, so therefore they're locked into the soft compound tyre. But and then Mitchell Hoy in 11th has also chosen that. But Francesconi, actually, in 12th place, has started on the hard compound tyre. I'll just quickly go through the other ones who aren't on the soft. So Rual 13th, obviously on softs. Moose, Mayer, Keysmakers, Fidok, Malcorrect, all on the medium compound tyre. Calipino back in 19th on the hards. Butcher, Cardaz, 21st. Cardaz making his debut this season in the Mad Cape Racing Team, 21st. They are both on mediums. Luke Maguire returning this race, 22nd is on the hards. Vincent Gut in the Mad Cape is 23rd with mediums. Quickly go back. 24th Russo is on the softs. Saraceno making his appearance today for Green Stripes in place of Lucchini is on mediums, and Masciuli at the back of the grid after a engine penalty is 26th on the hards. And just a quick note, yesterday in Super League Lights, a couple of drivers did try 2-stop races. So and Lalu and Saraceno both yesterday finished 5th and 6th, having done those 2-stop strategies. So we may see some 2-stoppers today, very, very likely from these front runners if they can get these hard tyres to work.
Indeed, so I did notice a couple of new faces on the grid. Obviously, Christian Maltrek, one of them. Can't say I've ever heard of him, but Fact to Flap with a great driver pool. So one of the ones to watch, possibly. And Damon Cardas, former Super Cup driver, making his Super League debut tonight. So lad doing its work there. No time, unfortunately, to ask for driver of the day from you, Tom Parker, because Aerospace Julie is lining up on the last row of the grid, unless you can give us it in 3 seconds.
French again replaced me. Malcorrect is from Super League Lights. And then, like I said, Saraceno in for Green Stripes for Lucchini. Let's go.
Yeah, come on, let's get this done. No time for driver of the day. Let's just have the start of the race. Liam Duvall, Adam Maguire, 1-2 for Adonis in the front row. Watch Yannick Bock back in P5, though. We're waiting for the lights as they illuminate. And the American Grand Prix, potentially decisive, is underway. Maguire gets a good start, exactly what he needed. Duvall second still.
Crash!
We've already had a crash at the back. We'll come back to that in a couple of seconds. Fabrizio Gobi diving down into turn 1. There's a red archer round, and there's an Adonis. Sorry, there's an evolution gone round to 2. Carnage at the start. Maggie Miner gets involved. There is a Federico Russo gets involved too. There's havoc here. Masciuli in the books. It's Bock. It's Bock. Yannick Bock caught him in the carnage. Disaster for the reigning champion.
There's a car with no front left wheel. Fidek somehow hasn't got a front left wheel. I don't quite know what on earth has happened there. There was a crash on the start line between, I believe, a HRT and a Red Arrow. And yeah, it's just disaster at the first turn, but this is absolutely music to the ears. Both for Adam Maguire and Adonis, first and second. Their main championship rival down, not out of the points, not even in the top 20. Dennis Jordan down in 7th place. Dennis actually made quite a good start, actually, but the rest of them, yeah, what a disaster.
Yeah, it looks to me, going into turn 1 here, that Gobi gets his brakes. Gobi is not involved here. Gobi gets the braking. Very well stopped indeed. Dennis Jordan is actually... it's the Red Archer, actually, by Kilk, who tags Bok. Bok goes round, and then Kilk hits one of the Vodbuls there, the Vodbull of Breezies. Kilk then goes wide and tags Jordan, who tags one of the best cars. Bok is well off the track by this point, and is the burst rejoining the tags Mleinek into Kiersmakers, and it's just pinball from there, with cars trying to take avoiding action. Now he's going to be a very busy one for the stewards to apportion blame there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what happened to Bok. So Bok lost it on his own. From what I can see, Bok just absolutely lost it on his own on the exit of turn 1. Can't see if Gobi, so Gobi's, or maybe Gobi did spin around into it as he went on the power. It's hard to tell, but yeah, what a bit of a cluster at the first corner there.
Yeah, it's possible the Bok was tagged actually into turn 1, but, you know, I'd have to go back and have a serious look at that, and even then it's for the stewards to decide, not us. But this is absolutely brilliant for Adam Maguire. He might just have had his championship saved by the actions of others.
I'm just trying to find out what on earth happened to David Fidok without having a front left wheel. Let's just see in the melee. Goes on in the melee, and then he gets caught in between a couple of drivers, and his wheel just comes off. It looks like a flag to flag. Seems to have either had a lag incident or just stopped dead on the track and can't really go anywhere. But yeah, what an odd first corner.
Yeah, Bok was involved with Ride Kilk. Ride Kilk was there, and the two cars' wheels tangled. It's difficult to say whether Bok turned in or Kilk overshot. I don't think Kilk was going too fast, so to speak. It may just have been a bit of an incident between the two of them. Not really much to go off at the moment, but Adam Maguire will be laughing his Irish heart out, because he knows now Yannick Brock is down in 17, and he stands to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship if Yannick Brock does not score points. As it stands, if he wins this race, Brock has to finish 6th to secure the championship. So this is not over for the German, but he's not in the best of places. And believe me, Saraceno, Canapino, Ruo, Butcher, ahead of him will give no quarter just because he's trying to win the championship. They will fight him as they usually would.
Goodness me, so I'm just looking at who's made gains on the start. Both Mayer and Keysmakers have both made 6 places up each, as that is a Red Arrow getting out of the way. I believe that is Fidok getting out of the way for the lapped cars. But yeah, have a look at Jack Mayer, Keysmakers, currently 10th and 11th. They've made up their places from 16th and 17th on the grid, so they've both gone up 6 places each at the start, so a great start for them both. Chris Butcher as well has gone from 22nd on the grid up to 13th place in his Red Arrow. So whilst a disappointing start for his teammate in Fidok, Butcher looking very, very good at the start.
Yeah, David Fidok, very unfortunate to get involved in the first corner melee, and obviously now just trying to keep out of the way of lap traffic. He's going to try and keep the car just going now. He's shifting at 11,100 RPM, so he's already shifting the car. Definitely just trying to save fuel, maybe do something or other. But Fidok already up down. Luke Maguire out of the running immediately.
Keysmaker down instantly as just overtaken Jack Mayer just after the back straight. Jack trying to come back round him at his double apex right, but hasn't quite got the line, and Keysmaker makes the move. Keysmaker's instantly the highest person of the ones who have not started on the soft compound tyre.
Good showing from him then. He stands to gain a lot if the one-stop is the way to go. We've seen drivers try the 2 around here though, so it may be that it's a 2-stop race, maybe that it's a 1-stop race. Keysmaker's obviously punting for the latter in this occasion, and that Holland Racing Team car in bright spiker orange, which is very fetching, may yet move up the order further than he already is. He's in 10th, he's still got gains to go. Giovanni Zapala with a strong start too, P9 for the Street Fighter driver there. He's chasing down Panzo and Hoyer in the 2 best Basileas, but Dennis Jordan, the only representation for Evolution in the top 15 of this race.
Yeah, but it's Yannick Bock, isn't it? We know that what he can do. He's in 17th, he's only just behind Saraceno and Canapino, and we've known Evolution have traditionally been better on the tyres than these guys. So if anyone can make the one-stop work from the soft compound, it probably is these guys. But we'll have to see what happens as the race goes on. But Abruzzi having a very good showing. And incidentally, just quickly on car upgrades, Raguzzi, what on earth am I saying? Abruzzi have traditionally got a very, very good car in a straight line. So this could be helping the Adonis boys. Could be threatening the Adonis boys, going down these back straights should they not be able to fight this off. As Liam Duval, as you can see, is just backing off from the back of Adam Maguire, not interested in overtaking him at all, obviously with the championship in his sights, the championship lead in Adam's sights, that is, and now he's just got to do what he can to keep Gorby, Raguzza, Kilk, all in this quick little train behind him. Matthias Moose is now retired from the race.
Yeah, we've lost Matthias Moose. He must have gotten involved in the first corner melee too and has parked the car with suspension damage. It looked pretty bad from where I was sat, and I don't really blame him. And there's scraps going down in the lower midfield as well. Saraceno getting involved with the likes of Bot and Canapino. Bot is up to 16th now, by the way, so he's making some moves up the order, if not the moves he wanted to be making in this part of the race. He would have been hoping for higher than 16th, but got involved in the drama, and now he's fighting Agustin Canapino, the Argentinian racing legend, for P15. Of course, this ought to be a quite interesting battle, actually, even though the cars are quite different, because Canapino has so much experience in the likes of Super TC 2000.
Oh, crash in front! There's a big incident between the three guys in front.
Butcher and Mayer both involved in some sort of fracas at turn 1, and it was Stefan Rualt who dive bombs and slides into Jack Mayer. Yeah, Rualt just absolutely went hell for leather into one. I don't know whether his brake was not fully engaged or what, but he just rammed into Mayer. That is odd from Stefan Rualt. He should have been slowing down a lot more than that. That is not brake failure at this part of the race, but maybe just didn't slow it down enough. I think he was trying something, but it didn't work. But Stefan is probably just annoyed the people in front. Yannick Bock has been gifted P13 and Canapino 12th then by that.
Yeah, it's very that's a driver error. I think where the he's opened up the DRS. Oh.
Back down the inside of the Argentinian, no resistance offered whatsoever. That Evolution is just so much faster, and even multiple top race V6 and Turismo Carretera titles cannot keep P12 out of the shot of Yannick Bock. Custom Canapino forced to take 13th.
And yeah, we've got to remember though, obviously Yannick is also on 2 steps softer tyres, so I think the delta around here between the tyre compounds is quite high. So obviously Yannick's probably made that look a bit easier than it probably actually was. But just going back to that incident between Rual, Butcher and Mayer, it's actually helped Yannick quite a lot, not just in position, but it means he wouldn't actually have to overtake these cars on track. So now that's 3 cars out of the way on track. He's not only now got a few more points, but he can see Yannick ahead. He's going to be faster than the guys in front. I think Adam and Liam are just holding the pack back a little bit at the moment. I think they can probably go a little bit faster than they are. Probably just looking after their tyres at this early phase of the race, obviously trying to make the one-stop work. Obviously, one less stops you can do, the better. But yeah, it's good for good for Yannick. I'm sure when Yannick comes up to the back of Dennis eventually, he will just let him go. But yeah, good stuff from Yannick, and to get lucky. Yeah, just go back to Ruel. It looks like he just didn't judge it. Basically, it's very rare. It's not like Ruel to make an error like that. So very rare error from the Holland Racing Team driver there.
Yeah, very interesting error there. Obviously, we'll have to see if that affects the race as it goes by. But yeah, Yannick Bock, what a move that was on Agustin Canapino. Just ran it straight down the inside. The car obviously so much quicker. But, you know, Canapino, it's been great to see him back. I mean, there's not many drivers in the world where you can commentate them on an esports race like this and then go into the racing database and find, you know, that they've been so successful. I mean, multiple top race V6 Super TC 2000 Turismo Carretera champion, raced at the 24 hours of Daytona as well, Agustin Canapino, for Junkos Racing as well, and the 12 hours of Sebring. Really getting his eye in real world racing at the moment, and really one to watch in the world of motorsports in the next few years, I think, if he gets the opportunities he's been getting recently. But of course, it's great to see him in the likes of GPVWC as well, because, you know, he brings all that experience and knowledge to a team like Ghostspeed too.
Yeah, I mean, Augustin's been sim racing at GPV for years. I remember racing him in 2010 in Superleague. So he's been a sim racer probably just as long as he's been a real life racer. And obviously, just luckily for him, being able to transfer over into the real world. So it's obviously great to see him in his league. And yeah, it's fingers crossed he can have a good result today. He's on the hards and he's in 13th, so he'll be able to go a very, very long way into this race. So going to be one to watch for this race. This is obviously Keersmaker's in 10th place on the mediums as opposed to the softs with the guys around him. So we'll have to see how that goes for him. But just a quick update on Yannick Bock. The last lap by, he took a couple of tenths out of the guys in front of him. He's not pushing too hard, I imagine, at the moment. But he could quite easily just drive up to the guys in front, bit of a train behind Keersmaker's in 10th at the moment, and then just make his move from there.
Yeah, Keersmaker's obviously, in a bit of a mire at the moment. He's got Meinik behind and Bock trying to catch up. And Yannick Bock is not in a great place in terms of track position right now. He's going to have to use those tyres to catch up to Meinik unless Keersmaker backs him up. And that is not going to be great for strategy for Bock. Do you think maybe he might be going for the two-stop, all things considered?
Yeah, it's a risk if he does. So like I said, it worked yesterday, but there was a lot of attrition yesterday in yesterday's race. There was a lot of incidents, a lot of problems. I think if anywhere it can work, here is probably one of the tracks. Like I said, the delta between the softs and the mediums, I can imagine, is quite high. I've not actually tested it myself, but I can imagine here because there's a lot of high-speed corners, a lot of medium-speed corners. So, Canapino, what a save! Coming out reverse turn there. And it's gone wide again. Struggling now on those hard tyres. Looks like they're maybe losing a bit of heat, but yeah, going back to the strategy, yeah. If it's work, obviously with the high-speed, medium-speed corners, you want to get more grip, so you can take faster speed, more time lost. And I think maybe here is a potential opportunity for that. Saracen looks on the inside in turn 1, can't quite make it work this time by.
Well, that save, that is years of front-wheel drive touring cars coming into play there, knows how to control that right foot and keep the car in line against Canapino, and proving a formidable opponent for Saraceno, obviously, in the green stripes behind him, or the green bull as we colloquially call it, owing to the sponsorship on the side of that car. But yeah, Saraceno definitely pushing hard, making a name for himself. Certainly had some interesting results so far, and I expect he'll probably, be in with a shout again in seat next year too, if he keeps this up. Something to think about at the moment, as Maciej Mleinek doesn't seem to want Keersmaker's ahead, but Mleinek has got a huge overspeed. I would not expect Lauren to defend this too hard, and he doesn't. He lets Mleinek go, and he'll have to worry about the cutback later. Now he's a top 10 for the edge driver though, and he will be chasing down this train ahead.
What a move by Saraceno, just behind on the back straight, round the outside of Canapino, going into that corner. What a move there from Saraceno. Like I said, he was one of the ones who actually tried the two-stopper yesterday, so he knows how it works, so he could be one to watch today. But yeah, up to 13th now for the Green Stripes driver, and doing a very, very, very solid job so far.
Yeah, definitely doing a very, very good job. Absolutely brilliant stuff so far from Saraceno. Not just to overtake Augustin there, but he's obviously going to try and get a little bit closer to Bock. If he could close Bock down, he'd give the German some serious trouble. But I think Saraceno's worries are probably elsewhere at the moment, such as fending off the Argentinian behind him.
Yeah, potentially. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Canapino, I'm expecting now to just lose a little bit of time to Saraceno, obviously Saraceno on the mediums. So I'm expecting him to pull away a little bit as we go through the lap. Yeah, Canapino misses the apex to turn one just slightly. Here we go. So Jack Mayer back up into 16th after that little incident he had earlier. He's got the two Madcaps behind him in 17th and 18th. Good job. Good showing from these boys so far, Vincent Good and Cardaz. I think Cardaz may have been thrown in the deep end a little bit so far, but he's doing a good job in 18th. With Francesconi just behind him in his new Street Fighter seat. Obviously a bit disappointed to be involved in that first turn incident, but he is someone who's more likely to be able to benefit from potentially getting a few places later on.
Well, it's a case of meet the old guard at the front of this race, so it's a 1-2 for Adonis and a 3-4 for Abruzzi. I mean, when was the last time the Abruzzi were this sort of high up the order as a combined unit? Usually there's a fair bit between their two drivers, but at the moment Giuseppe Ragusa and Fabrizio Gobi right up there with each other, 3 and 4, in a position to tackle the Adonis Express in first and second. Mike Pittman will be happy with this.
Abruzzi are a bit of a strange one, aren't they? They'll sort of have an amazing race, like when Gorby won earlier in the season in Canada, and then they'll be nowhere. And you just think, what's going on? And then they'll come to the next race and they'll be quite competitive, and then they'll go to Germany, for example, where they really, really struggled again. And then they'll go to the next race and they'll be in potential contention for a podium. It's a very, very odd. I don't quite understand it personally, but I mean, like I said, they've got enough points. They're doing quite well in the standings. I mean, Gorby's doing, as like I said, won a race this season, had a couple of podiums as well. So, yeah, she's a bit of an enigma. They're very much a Lauren Hardy team, aren't they? A Jekyll and Hyde team, just a bit like, well, it's 1 minute they're amazing, and the next minute they're just a bit in the wilderness. It's very odd.
Yeah, I did wonder at the start of the season what Mike Pittman was thinking. I mean, obviously, he's the manager of just a team. He could have brought in pretty much any talent for the money. He could have probably I don't know, he could have brought in Nico Hulkenberg if he wanted to, but no, Fabrizio Gobi and Giuseppe Ragusa right now, obviously, the team. I always wondered what he was thinking, but they have proven their worth this season. They have definitely shown that they can stick it with the rest of them, and if they don't stay at Abruzzi for next season, I think they would definitely find seats elsewhere. They've definitely shown their potential.
Yeah, there's never really any question about their driving, especially Gorby. He's been in sim race for years and he's very, very successful and all that. So there's no question about their talent. It's just found it's weird how sometimes they just disappear a little bit, just miring towards the end of the top 10 rather than like where they are now in third and fourth. But yeah, nice to see them at the front again, and hopefully they'll be able to take the fight to the Adonises. So keeping intact with them. Like I said, I think the Adonises may be looking after their tyres a little bit. Liam's, like I said, making no effort whatsoever to overtake Adam Maguire, obviously with Adam looking to try and take the championship lead today. So yeah, so it'd be nice to see a different name on the podium rather than the usual suspects.
Yeah, Abruzzi currently 7th in the team's championship with 150 points, only 8 behind Holland Racing Team in 6th. But this really has been the worst season they've had in a while. But, you know, then a race like this comes about and you think, actually, they might be able to slot back into the top 5 by the end of the season if they keep this up.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, isn't it, where it's quite a close fight in that little bit, isn't it, between the 5th, 6th, 7th area, just like it is for the top of the standings. Possibly the top is where they all want to be, and hopefully these teams will be making strides to try and get to that next season.
Yeah, never mind tough at the top, it's tough at the bottom at the moment as well. If we look further down the order in the teams, you have the likes of Flag to Flag, Cosmo by Tier 4 and Red Arrow Green Stripes, separated by 8 points, those 4 teams. So tough battle to avoid relegation at the moment, although obviously Mad Cape trailing the order in 14th at the moment, and well, Lee Davison, former Epic Racing manager, managing that outfit, and well, if this continues and interest for 2021 is high, he might be managing the Super League Lights team next year.
Who knows? Who knows? We are going to be, incidentally, we are going to be having a big meeting between the management about the 2021 season, not just for Super League, obviously, but for the career ladder as a whole. So, yeah, very exciting. Yeah, hopefully this time next week we'll be having a little get-together, a voice chat meeting. We've already got quite a few ideas of what we want to talk about as well, and obviously we've had a few ideas and suggestions from the greater community. If you want to post your ideas and potentially your ideas for the next season in the comments in YouTube, and we'll see if we can talk about that next week. But yeah, if you do have any other suggestions and you don't want to post them into YouTube, you can message any one of the management, myself or Menno, Clon, maybe the best 2 to go to, and then we can pass it on next week.
Yeah, indeed. I hope one of those suggestions is start paying me more money, because I jest. It's great commentating here as it is, honestly. Yeah, Adam Maguire though will be loving it at the front of this race too. He's currently keeping a lovely lead with his teammate playing rear gunner perfectly. Duvall staying in DRS range, but not going for the overtake, obviously. But for Fabrizio Gobi, you might want to start getting your foot down, mate, to break this train up a little bit. I know it's going to cost you some tyres, but it's your only choice to get into the top of this pecking order, unfortunately. He's going to have to get past Duvall.
Yeah, now look at that. It's pretty much a 9-car train for the lead. It's just, the thing is, where Liam's got the DRS, Gobi needs to try and get a better exit and to try and match it, but he just can't seem to get that fast speed. Dennis Jordan has a little cheeky look at Right Kilk in 6th place. Tried a little bit of a look, but decided against it in the end. But he got Hoyer, Panzer and Zapala for the 2 bursts and the Street Fighter closing up onto the end of this train. So it's not a big gap at all between the top 9, sorry.
Yeah, top 9 are very, very close together in the grand scheme of things. 5.3 seconds separate them. Jamana Zapala trailing that top 9, of course, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Matthew Blyneck in P10. But Zapala definitely put the pressure on Panzer. Panzer and Hoyer working together nicely. Dennis Jordan still the only representation in the top 10 for Evolution. Yannick Bock trying to make ground up. There's still 1.1 seconds to Kiersmacher. So the German has still got a ways to go, though. He is cutting that gap down quite quickly, and I expect he'll be up into the top 10 possibly by the first round of pit stops.
Potentially, yes, and obviously we'll have to see how that works. But obviously, the undercut proved to be very strong here last night, so it could be interesting to see if any drivers do decide to do that along with the 2-stop. Obviously, the 2-stop means you can use your tyres a lot harder, and maybe even go a step softer than the guys in front. But I'm not expecting any pit stops for about another 5 or 6 laps yet. We saw drivers start coming in as early as lap 12. We saw some drivers come in about lap, I think the last driver to come in yesterday on the SOS was Thomas Vark on lap 20. So there's it's Gorby has a bit of a dive on the inside of the VAR, very far back. Yeah, it's just I don't really understand why he's done it, because now he's left himself not vulnerable to his teammate behind him, but now he's not going to have the straight line speed to try and make a move up the inside. Is actually Liam Duval pulling out of the slipstream now to look at Alan McGrath. I don't think it's interested in making a move, but yeah, if Gobby had felt, I mean, this might be me being pedantic, but if he'd maybe taken a wide line, had a better exit, he could have had it. Oh, it's actually no. Here we go, up the inside into the double right.
Oh, Gobby! Oh, there's contact.
And again,
oh
my
he clips
goodness.
the curb. Ragusa goes through. Look at Kilk. Right, Kilk, baby, opportunist there, trying to go around the outside of both of them. It doesn't work though. Fabrizio Gobby holds position, but right, Kilk sticking his nose in left, right, and centre, saying, "I want a bit of this action. Thank you very much."
Yeah, a bit of gift of spot there, and it was not really Ragusa's fault. Nothing he could do. He had to try and avoid hitting his teammate, and Kilk very, very well done. I thought he was going to get a move done round the outside down Gorby. That would have been a fantastic move, but Gorby's going to be. Yeah, so he had to, like I said, he had to try something. I don't know what he's weaving now. I don't really think if he feels he's aggrieved or something.
Oh.
But yeah, that was a fine effort from Gorby to try and make something happen. But straight away, he's already on the back of him. But yeah, a bit of excitement here or there on lap 12, lap 13. Sorry.
All right, Kilk though, what a potential move that would have been. That was opportunism at its finest there. Saws the chance, goes for it, doesn't quite get it done, but he's in a P4.
Interesting, so Rail's just come in, he's just come off the medium tyre, he's actually just put on a set of soft compound tyres, so he's going to be going on to the 2-stop today.
Yep, and already there's reaction to that near incident there. David Young calling them a Brucey Airlines rather than a Brucey Esports, and well, Craig Wallard in the comments with one word, whoops.
Yeah, I think whoops is the, yeah, whoops is definitely the idea there, but yeah, Gobby, and then, I mean, Liam had the line and the...
oh, here comes Jordan! Jordan on Ragusa tries to make it work, but backs out. I think he had to there. There was no way that was going to work without a bit of bumper cars between him and Ragusa there. Realistically, his best option was to wait.
Yeah, and I was just going to say about Gobby, so in the double right-hander, as we said, in the second part, Liam was always going to close that door. He was always going to take that line, so I'm surprised that Gobby still stuck his nose in there. Got away with it. I mean, he may have a tiny bit of damage, but nothing too serious, I'd have thought. So, yeah, maybe it's a bit more patience could be there. I mean, like I said, I applaud the fact he tried to make the move, but yeah, I think the aftermarket would have been a bit better.
Very wide. He went out that second to last corner, man. This is going to give Jordan all the room he needs. And look at that, he's already going to the left-hand side of the track. He's defending about as hard as he possibly can. He is giving no room whatsoever to Jordan to even so much as consider toying with that position. He is not in the mood for games today, Giuseppe Ragusa. He wants P5. He does not want to lose it to Dennis Jordan, who is on him like a magnet at the moment.
Well, yeah, obviously Ragusa haven't just lost 4th place, but Ragusa also is now not inside the DRS zone, DRS detection range of right Kilk, so now he's going to have to try doubly hard to try and keep the Evolution and Hoya and Panzer and Zapala are now on the back of him as well, behind him.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting for the field behind. I mean, Zapala will be watching this for the likes of Panzer and Hoya and thinking, this could be very tasty if I get a chance at this. And a chance at this they may as well get. But speaking of chances, Gorby is not going to get a chance at Duval. Look at that! He used the draft evidently. Look how close he is to Duval now. He's braking late. He's turning hard. He's gaining the time. And Liam Duval is going to play rear gunner like he's never played rear gunner before if he wants to stop the Italian stallion from barging through to P2.
Yeah, so just to add a quick look actually, so actually in a straight line, Liam Duval is actually quicker when they're in the slipstream. Obviously both had DRS, both had slipstream. Gorby was only getting up to about 320 at the very highest. Liam Duval, even though he was lifting off a little bit towards the end, was on 321.
Right, Kilgan, so this is the start of the pit window. Obviously he thinks he can go for it. Get the tyres changed now. If this is hards, we may be seeing a 1-stop. If this is anything other than hards, possible 2 for the Estonian as he comes into the pits now. We will see what tyres he goes on to as we wait for him to find his pit box. He's going for the medium tyres. So it's a 2-stop for Kilk then.
Yeah, even on the hards, I think I know they're a damn durable tyre, but 41 laps would be a bit of a stretch on them. So, but yeah, this will give him the opportunity to do though is jump these people in front of him. So should he jump these guys in front of him who are on a very old set of soft compound tyres, he jumps these guys, he will take the effective lead of the race. And like I was saying earlier, if he can make the gap and come back out with a good gap for his second stop, who knows? He may be in with a chance of a win here.
Obviously, Christian Malachek thinks the same thing. He's coming in off the mediums, though, so he's obviously been a bit harder on his tyres then, perhaps. He'll be going for 2-stop with some hard compound action, perhaps. No, he's staying on the mediums. So I suspect hard... Well, no, he is on the hard side. He took a second to refresh. I beg your pardon. So, yeah, either 1 stop from him from here, which would be a big ask, or 2 stops with a bit of a more conservative compound. So, obviously, struggling with the tyre wearing that flag to flag, but rejoins in P21 does Christian Malachek. So... several different strategies playing out here at the moment, it seems.
Yeah, and I wonder if you'll see Duval or Gilby come in and try and cover off Kilk there. I mean, it's going to be quite vital, and no, they don't come in. Oh, Gilby does. Trying to cover him off.
He obviously thinks it's a good idea too. He's responding to Kilk, and obviously we'll see with Gorby being a serious contender for the win, if he can make this work as well. I presume this will be medium tyres for him as well, given that's what Kilk went for. But Gorby's going to come into the pits now, find his pit box. We presume mediums. Mediums it is.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. So he's going to be on a 2-stop as well, but he's done that purely to cover off Kilk there. I mean, Kilk is always going to be
He's
close.
He's going to get him. I think he's going to get him, to be honest with you. Right, Kilk is just going to turn in, and he's going to use the road. He's overtaken once again in front of the Bruzy cars, and that was a brilliantly timed stop from the Estonian. Possible contender for the win now?
Definitely, I would say he's definitely in the hat now. Not only that, but when he came out as well, he had a nice gap in front of him. He found a bit of free air. He's now behind Canapino, but that's obviously a couple of laps after his pin has come and done his stop. Yeah, he's really timed that well. He's got a bit of free air. He's now behind. He's going to have the DRS on Canapino as well, so... looking at his Canapino goes very wide there. In fact, actually, Kilk may have the chance to make a move here. So, Kilk looking really, really strong. As Yannick Bock down the inside of Matthew Lilac, he did make a move on Kearsmakers a second ago. But now Yannick Bock into 8th place and now has a bit of free air and is starting to push.
Yeah, obviously starting to get the hammer down now in this stage of the race. And, a bit of trivia for you. I've just noticed, Lee Davison, saying we now have 2,000 subscribers. So thank you to all 2,000 of you for staying subscribed.
Yeah, that's a great number, isn't it? Great number to see. So good stuff as the Adonises go round again. But Ragusa comes in the second of the Abruzzi cars. But they actually dropped about 3 seconds off the lead. So Dennis Jordan now in third place, 4 seconds off the lead of Maguire and Duval. But none of them have come in yet. So I'm wondering if you could see maybe these guys trying to stretch out for a 1-stop here today. If, like I said, if anyone wants more to do it, I'd say the Evolution is probably more likely. But it's going to be great to see if these guys can actually make it work. It's going to be interesting to see which strategy actually is faster today.
Matty Meinig might be going for that magic 1-stop, but he's gone for the hards.
40 laps.
On that, Tom Parker? 40 laps, yeah.
If he does it, fair play to him. I don't envy him doing any laps on those hard tyres, let alone 40. So, the match is pretty good on his tyres as well, I believe. So, we'll have to see how it goes. But he's already, look at that. So he's already about 12 seconds behind Kilk, and obviously they've got a better tyre as well. Don't know if it'll work out in terms of that, but we'll have to see.
Obviously, it seems then they have a fairly long pit lane, obviously, here at the Circuit of the Americas. Obviously, some changes up and down the order, as I've noticed.
Liam! Duval's just taking the lead.
Yeah, he has. I just noticed that. Obviously, no team orders going on at Adonis Engineering then, but this hardly benefits Adam Maguire because Buck's back in championship contention now.
Now, I'm wondering if Adam's tyres are starting to go. I reckon you'll see Adam come in this lap.
I suspect he's probably just not wanting to hold up Duval in that case if he doesn't come in this lap. Yep, he is coming in this lap, so there's your explanation. He changed positions because he didn't want to hold Liam up because he was coming in anyway. So there you go. Yannick Bock will be given a slight reprieve by this. I wonder if Bock's going to respond. I see Robin Panzar certainly has.
He has responded, nearly hit the inside of the pit wall as he comes in, but he does come in indeed. But now this leaves one Evolution now. Are we going to see Yannick Bock come in? No, we are not. So,
no response.
So maybe no Evolution. No.
Yeah, possibly going for the undercut. Adam Maguire on hards too. He thinks he can go the rest of the race.
Well, he's now got a big white Kilk is going to take the effective lead of this race. Kilk through. Maguire is now also behind Gorby, but I would be impressed to see him go to the end. If he can, fair play. But it's, like I said, he has to try and do something as Ragusa gets past Canapino into 10th.
Well, I tell you this, Tom Parker, I didn't think I'd be saying this at the start of the season. We're third away to the race. Will it be a Red Archer victory?
You know what? Of all the drivers I would like to win the race, I've got obviously no favouritism in this field at all. Obviously, I thought a lot of drivers gone well, but if Right Kilk won, I would be very, very happy.
I'd be very, very happy if Rai killed one myself. I think he's one of those drivers who definitely we've known this season has been capable of it, but it just hasn't come together. If he could pull it off, one of the most popular wins I think there would be for a while.
Yeah, he's. I respect Wright quite a lot. He's always one of those people who's very understated. Doesn't shout about things. He's always very clever with what he does. He just gets on with it. He's had a couple of podiums here and there. He's always been there in the top 5, top 6, always floating around, like you say. But again, if he won a race, yeah, I would be chuffed. I'd be really happy for him. He did a great job at Epic last year. He's done a great job this year for Red Archer. Yeah, it'd be great. But he's got Gobby all over the back of him, so we'll have to. He's not quite, like I said, not quite got his victory yet, and obviously Maguire just behind them as well on the hards as opposed to the mediums. So this race isn't quite over yet. As Kizmaker's now in, and Zapala also in the Street Fighter.
Definitely.
Kizmaker's actually interestingly, just doesn't say actually.
Yeah.
Kizmaker's in on the mediums.
Well, he has obviously managed to make those tyres last 18 laps. I think he'll be going for the one-stop too, but if he's only made the mediums last that long, perhaps he's going to struggle on the hards. Who knows? Unless he plans on backing it down a bit. Zapala rid off the hards too, so now is the window for one-stop as it seems.
Well, you say that as if they can get, maybe they're going to go hard and then go for a soft stint at the end, maybe? That could be a potential. We'll have to try and see how it goes out. But Liam Duval, Dennis Jordan. Oh, Mitchie Hoy around! Mitchie Hoy around on the crest going up left, but that brings Bok ahead of him.
Oh, Mitchie, no, that's not going to help you cause any. It's going to help Yannick Bocco. He's in P3, though we know he's got about a 20-second pit delta. So, yep, that was just a full 360-degree double axle there from Mitchie Hoyer. Well held, sir. That one shall get you the respect of people who need. Oh, it's the Canapino out. Augustin Canapino, not so lucky, out with suspension problems. I suspect he crashed on his own. And yep, I think that might even have been the same corner as Hoyer had his incident. Yep, he just clipped the curb, car lost adhesion, woof into the, lost his front wing and decided to call it a day. But Mitchie Hoyer, well held at least to retain fourth. Yannick Bok, P3, but 11 seconds down on the leader. We know it's about 20 to 25 seconds for a stop, so he's possibly going to come out behind, of all people, Robin Panzer. This has not worked out for Bok. But remember, he was caught in the drama at the start. Duval, Jordan, though, both in.
And Bok.
Now, Jordan will get out before Bok gets there, so the double stack is not a concern. Liam Duval has beaten him out of the pits. He's on the hards. Dennis Jordan is out on the hards. And Bok is going to come in, presumably for the same hards. Yes, he's on the hards, as is Hoyer.
So Duval hasn't actually lost that much time, considering Maguire came in a lap and I think 2 laps before him. He's not actually lost that much time, so Liam's done very well at making that work. So,
Brocklemayneck. Oh, is Matty going to get to on the undercut? I doubt he is. Bok is out 10th behind Mayer, who has not pitted yet, but behind, crucially, Germano Zapala, who I believe has.
Yeah, but he was quite a way behind Zapala before his pit stop, so actually he's gained a little bit on Zapala, but yeah, Bok now into the top 10 in his own right, so he's aiming to try and get back to that 6th place.
Mind you, we say that this is a problem, but it's not, because Adam Maguire is not in the top 2 of this race, which means that as it stands, Bok will still win the championship, as Maguire has to finish in the top 2. So he's got to chase down Golby and Kilk if he wants to come out of this with any chance of being champion. Even then, if he's second, all Bok has to do is finish in the top 14. So it is still Bok's championship to lose, despite everything.
And also this depends all now on whether or not what Wright, Kilk and Gorby are doing on their strategy. I mean, there's no way in God's earth they're going to get to the end on those sides. And if they do, I will personally hand them a trophy. But yeah, I mean, if Adam can stay on this one stop, he will be in the lead again of this race. But we've still got 35 laps to go at the end of this race. We're only 21 laps in, remember. So a long way to go yet.
Yeah, still a long way to go in the race. We're only 40% of the way through. Fabrizio Gorby and Kilk obviously fighting it out of the front, obviously on the possible 2-stopper. They're going to lose 20 seconds if they come in. They won't come in now, obviously, but when they do come in at the moment, they would drop down to about 13th. So they're going to need to pull out at least, and it seems like a big ask to pull out 20 seconds on the likes of Maguire, but they've got time to do it yet.
So not only that, they say, okay, they come in to do their stop. They say they use 20-25 seconds, right? Okay, say they get a 5-second gap on Maguire. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so they're 15 seconds behind. They will then, potentially, if they go into the softs, they'll be about maybe a second and a half lap quicker at the end. Remember, old hards compared to new softs? I know what tyre I'd rather be on.
Yeah, but of course you've got that age-old saying as well. It's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass them. As soon as they get up to all this traffic, they'll have to get through, and they won't make it easy for them. That much is for certain. But right now, it's Red Archer versus a Bruisey at the front of the field for the race win, and that's not something I was expecting to see earlier this season.
So something I think Red Archer being right at the front, I've not said for about 6 years. So since the days of when they won the championship back in obviously in 2010 when they won the Constructors' Championship against Norwegian. So good on him. And like I said, Nikos is obviously one of those managers who's been around for I think ever, bless him. And obviously has tasted success. Not as much success in recent years, but right soon what he can. I think, do you know what? I still think Kilt can get a podium even with a 2-stop. I think podium is pretty nailed on if he can keep this pace up. But he's going to have to obviously contend with the pressure from Gorby behind.
Yeah, I wonder when the last time Red Archer won a race was in Super League. That's the one for the statisticians out there.
Someone will be able to tell us. I'm sure Nikos is watching. Actually, he'll be able to tell us for sure. But I know Jason's obviously won a few races years ago. I wouldn't be able to know. Actually, no, I wouldn't know. I know they've definitely not won a race this or last season.
Jason Muscat, of course, one of the Maltese contingent of GPVWC. We have quite a few of them, and they've always proved to be very talented. So, you know, it's always been good to see them there, see them racing, and Red Archer, obviously, Jason Muscat, a long-time driver for them, so going to be interested to see if they can get another win here today in the hands of Ride Kilk. Vincent Good pits in P18 for Mad Cape. There's a team that's trying to avoid relegation to Super League lights, and has been putting in some, if not spectacular.
Oh, Gorby!
Oh, Fabrizio! How has he done that?
Straight line, very low drag car, and Gorby takes the lead of this race.
Yeah, Fabrizio Gorby, I lost eyes on him for a second there, but he just woofed down the inside. Kilt couldn't offer a defence. A Bruisey speed and power wins you the day, and all of a sudden the rules are reversed. But it's not over. Kilt could yet get back in.
Well, they need to be sensible about this, though. They need to try and not battle each other too much. If they do really want to have a realistic chance of winning this race, they need to try and work together a little bit to try and get a gap on Maguire and co, so that when they do come back out for after their second stop, they can actually catch back up again.
Yeah, obviously wants to put on a bit of a power move here, Fabrizio Gorby, but Kilk is not going to let him go too easily. He needs to watch his tyres, and look at the amount he's gained in that first turn alone. Yeah, I completely forgot about Fabrizio Gorby for a second. I was so busy wrapped up in the history of Red Archer, but we can't forget about the history of Jack Mears in the pits behind. I've just noticed...
Oh, Francesconi! Woo! Francesconi just made one of the saves of the century in the second to last corner. I don't quite know how he managed to keep that car going the right way. Now down in 17th, having lost a couple of places to Saracino and who's actually ahead of him, Rual as well, as Matt Mayer comes into the pits for his stop. Goes on to the hard combat tyres.
I've just seen that from Francesconi. That was initial day stuff right there, getting the back all the way out. Don't know how he saved that, but his rear tyres will not be happy with it.
No, absolutely not. Just a quick update on Bock. He's not really making any gains on the drivers ahead now. He's now they're all on the same compound, effectively. He is slowly catching up to Zapala ahead of him, but nothing massively fast. He's quite a bit faster than Panzer ahead of him, but other than that, he's rounded out the same pace as the leaders at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Leaders at the moment, obviously, setting the pace, but Maguire, Duval, Ragusa. Duval really having to do some defending at the moment against Giuseppe Ragusa, because obviously they are third and fourth. That is not enough for the Drivers' Championship, but they're earning their way in the teams at the moment, it seems at the moment. Yannick Bock in P9, obviously having pitted, trying to catch up to Giovanni Zapala. He's only about 2 seconds off at the moment, so there's plenty of time to catch up. Zapala wants a bit of Robin Panzer, though, so this could get interesting for 7th and 8th.
Oh, as Ragusa's now in the slipstream of Liam Duval. Liam having to do a weave left, right, and centre to try and get past. Ragusa going for it anyway. What a move! Dives down the inside on his only medium touch to Liam. But Liam tries to do the cutback. Oh, a bit of touching there. But Liam does have the car ahead. Ooh, Liam does have the car ahead.
These aren't touring cars, Liam. You got to watch yourself on the contact front. Giuseppe Ragusa, though, definitely had to have a go at something. It doesn't make it work, but he'll get. It's driving like that. Michael Francesconi is in the pits, I presume, to get new tyres after that Takumi Fujiwara moment earlier. He is going to pit in and get some new mediums on that car. Thought as much.
Yeah, I think his tyres would have been pretty cooked quite a lot there, but yeah, Liam wouldn't. I'm sure Liam would love a GT car. I know how much he loves them. Love you, Liam. Yeah, he's managed to escape that one, and I'm surprised actually Ragusa's actually managed to stay in DRS. I didn't think he'd be in there again, but yeah, it's going to give Dennis Jordan the opportunity to catch him up, which would not be good news for the Adonis anyway.
Yeah, that wouldn't be brilliant news if they got overtaken, especially not if both of them did. Duvall obviously playing rear gunner and doing a good job for Maguire at the moment. He really needs to get a shift on if he's going to catch the likes of Kilkear. But you got to remember, he's holding the gap that he needs to hold. There's 5 seconds between them. If they came out 15 to 17 seconds behind, it'd still be the likes of 9th and 10th, but that's not where they want to be. They want to be winning. They need to get the hammer down, or Maguire needs to ease up. One of the two.
Yeah, so say I think if Kilk and if Kilk and Gorby were to pit now, obviously very very early, so they won't do so. But if they were to pit now, they'd come out in about 9th place. So line next.
Oh, wow! How late was Ragusa on the brakes there? I bet they've all got the fright of his life just seeing that car just close up. I bet he was bracing for impact there. I think he probably was, but Ragusa gets it stopped just in time. I thought they were going to touch then.
It was indeed very close, but he did manage to keep it a go as Panzer's been overtaken for 7th place by Zapala in the last lap or so. Now Bock on the back of these guys, so Bock looking very, very good again to try and get back into that place he needs to get, 6th place he needs to get to guarantee himself the title. But yeah, it's quickly going back to that pit stop. So if Gorby pits now, he's 19 seconds ahead of Mlanek, so come out in about 10th place. So if he keeps the race going, he'll be coming out around about 10th, and then he'd have so many laps to try and get the win on the fresh tyres that he'll be on at the end.
Yeah, fresh tyres at the end of the race is always something you like to have. Get to that little bit extra speed, let you go for track records, lap records, and there's a bonus million for the teams that does it, remember. Whoever gets the fastest lap earns $1 million quidsies for the team. So that's always something they'll be aiming for. And in the case of Ghost Speed, it would offset the £1 million penalty they just took for I think it was, yeah, for Erasmus Shuli's new engine.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be quite a nice little thing for the manager of Go Speed to have in their pocket.
£1 million always helps, doesn't it?
Or if I had £1 million, I know what I'd be doing. It wouldn't be sat here. I'll tell you now.
Well, I guess each to their own, I suppose, on that front. As Ragusa, is he going to try the late break manoeuvre again? No, I think he just tried it once. I think he possibly even surprised himself by how we got it up, so he's braked a little bit earlier this time.
Yeah, just trying to avoid any contact. Obviously, he's had a bit of a run-in with one of the donators today, so he's trying not to make a repeat of that incident again.
Yeah, Jeffrey Fournier in the comments as well. We do love Jeff with some nice advice, saying that ideally Gorby and Kilt should gain 7 seconds on the Bock train with Zapala and Panzer to really get the clean air for the last stint. So you heard the man, Fabrizio, right? Get your skates on.
Yeah, so that's about roughly what I was thinking. Yeah, so about another second or 7 seconds or so to get that done. Whether they can do that now, whether they've taken the life out of tyres, not sure. Once the hards come into their own, once you've got a bit of a heat cycle through them and they're warmed up, they're not a bad tyre. Let's see what they can do. I mean, they're lapping around the same pace as that Bock line neck Panzer train at the moment. So 36.1 from Panzer last time, 35.7 from Gorby and Kilk. Pretty much matched to Russia in the last lap there. So yeah, like I said, need to get their skates on, but whether they can or not, whether the tyres will give them the ability to do that is another question. But yeah, if they can clear that gap, they have a very good chance of winning this race.
Yeah, Jeffrey Fournier knows something about winning races. You remember Australia 2018?
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
I do. I could have won that race, but I decided to lag out as well.
How many times can you say that about your career though, Tom Parker? Mister, I have no luck with my internet when I need it. How many times has that happened though? We're definitely a deserved multiple race winner with us today, but
twice has happened.
He just can't catch a break. I mean, how many times do you have to race? I mean, Hasse sports driver, obviously multiple almost winner in GPVWC and now commentator alongside myself.
Keep stroking the ego, I like it.
I know. But Tom Parker, Jeffrey Fournier, both people know how to win races, and Jeffrey always more than happy to help us hand with some stats and info as well. So thank you, Jeffrey. What's that we say about him? He's French, he's Kent, he loves a race. Fournier.
I do like Fournier.
We do love him. Oh, go on, Jeffrey. Hopefully we'll see him back next year as well.
Fingers crossed, yeah, very good driver, very missed on the grid this year. I remember talking to him earlier in the season, he just didn't have the time, unfortunately, which is a shame, but yeah, very, very quick driver on his day. Interestingly, so just looking on race view, obviously to keep up track with what the sector times are doing. Like Yannick Box actually just set the fastest first sector of the entire race there. So maybe he's starting to finally feel a bit racy. Is Yannick?
Yeah, Yannick Bock maybe starting to feel like he can really go for this now, and being on a one-stop is going to help him compared to the likes of Gobi and Kilk. Obviously, won't have to stop again. Colin Spork, I can pill 22 seconds.
Yeah, that sounds about. I'd say about 22 seconds sounds about right. Yeah.
So they'd come out at the moment behind Matthew Mlynek.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only. I mean, so they're not going to be pitting again for another 10 laps or so, even if then. So I expect them to come in. What I'm expecting them to do is come in around 38, 39, and then stick another set of softs on, so they can go 18 laps on the end. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe they'll aim for about lap 40. Just give them 16 laps on the end to really push those tyres to the end, and then we'll see them on another set of softs. But, yeah, 22 seconds sounds about right, and that's where you'll be looking. I think in that time, maybe in about 10 laps, they can maybe get ahead of. That Zapala Bok Panzer train is going to be close. They need about another 7 seconds, like you said. So it's going to be close. It's going to be interesting, like I said. If they can clear that Zapala gap and get back into that 7th, I think they've got a very, very good chance of winning this race.
I think the chance is certainly there, yeah. I mean, they've got to get the skates on, as we mentioned, but those soft tyres potential at the end will help them, but it's about overtaking after they get those tyres on. So as long as they keep pulling on a gap to Maguire, who's currently 5 seconds behind Gobi, they have a chance. Mind you, Maguire's last 5 laps, 135.6, 135.5, 35.7, 35.7 and a 36.5, so only 1 lap where a mistake was made. Gobi has not been out of the 35s in the last 5, so he has 1 second in the bank in that sense. Neither has Kilk, so Ride Kilk and Fabrizio Gobi in the last 5 laps have had a lot to shout about.
Yeah, I mean, what you've got to remember now, so their fastest lap of the race, 35.0, 35.1 for Gobi and Kilk respectively. That's their fastest laps, and they're lapping now about 4 or 5 tenths slower. Good laps there from them both there just then, 35.4 from both of them. But Adam Maguire is pretty much matching his best lap. So Adam's actually doing quite a good job of keeping those tyres alive, considering the compound difference as well. Only lost 2 tenths that last lap. So Adam's doing a better job than it looks like. Yeah, they are, like I said, Gilby and Kilk are still pulling away. They've just made about 6 tenths on Zapala that lap. But whether or not they're making enough from Maguire, it's going to be close. Like I said, they're going to be much faster at the end. But it's whether or not they'll have enough time to make that tyre advantage count. That's Ruel, actually, interestingly. Ruel actually is in from 13.
Yeah, Ruel in. I was going to say something else there, but Stefan Ruel is just come off the soft tyres and is going on the mediums, so he'll be going to the end. Obviously, he was going to have a stint on the softs, and now he's come back onto the mediums to go for the end. And, well, I think Adam Maguire has no choice now but to try and watch those tyres, as Lee Davidson is rightly saying. If he wants the top 2, he's got to go for it and hope they hold on and the softs don't catch up. But here's a question. Tyre saving in this economy for these many laps? Yeah, he's got to. I don't think he has a choice, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't say it's tyre saving. I don't think he's pushing as hard as he can though. Like I saw earlier on, I don't think so. Just as good to say, Ruel did a 15-lap stint on those softs, and also as the lower fuel comes in and you've got a lighter car, it's a bit easier on the tyres. So I could see Gorby and Kilk doing 18 laps on those softs quite easily at the end. But now, like I said, it's whether or not Maguire can keep those hard tyres going for so when did he? So Maguire came in on lap 18, so he's done 18 laps on those tyres. So he'd have to do 38 laps. Yeah, doable. Not easy, but I would say it's definitely doable. But like I said, will that trade-off of compound be in his favour towards the end? I don't think so. I can't call it. I can't call it.
I think what Adam Maguire really needs is for Fabrizio Gobi and Ride Kilk to pull out the 5 seconds on him, but also 5 seconds on Yannick Bock, because then they'll come out ahead of Bock and possibly hold him up.
Yeah, so incidentally, Maguire has just set his personal best of the race of 35.2, actually quicker by 3 tenths than Kilk that last lap. Kilk now actually he's outside of the DRS zone. Gorby.
Well, yeah, comparison between Maguire and Bock is as follows, and Maguire was a second faster that lap. So 5 of them, and he's got the gap that he needs for Fabrizio Gobi and Ride Kilk to slot into, but it's about the rest of the field also doing that, and then Bock not. He needs to create the gap, and right now it's 18.5 from Bock to Gobi, between the two of them, the lap difference was about the same, actually, so it could happen as Yannick Bock moves on Robin Panzer now to get through. That's going to clear one of the two cars and give him some run on Gimano Zapala, possibly speed him up a bit.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, the reason he's losing that much time is because he's in this battle with Panzer and Zapala. He's now cleared Panzer, and I mean, Yannick's fastest up to 35.3s. He's consistently going up on that in the first two sectors, but obviously he gets into this twisty third sector and he can't quite make the faster lap. But yeah, he is stuck basically. But once he gets clear, I think he will be matching quite easily Maguire, Duval, and Ragusa ahead of him. Granted, he's about 10 seconds behind him, so I don't know if he'll be able to maybe win. Or catch these guys up even, but well, like I said, all he's aiming for is that 6th place. He's just aiming to get into that 6th place.
P6 is where he needs at the moment, and that is where he shall shoot for, because that guarantees him the title, regardless of what Adam Maguire does. That's his own personal goal for this race, and I don't think you can blame him at this point for going for anything less than P6. He will want that, and possibly no more.
I mean, yeah, if you can win your championship, why wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone would love to win, but if it means winning a world championship, finishing 6th, I think I'd take that.
P5 for a while in Formula 1 was the magic number for winning world championships. Remember, Lewis Hamilton did with that in 2008, Jenson Button in 2009, so P6 not far off.
No, that was a good year. Good years they were. But yeah, interestingly, so Ragusa obviously in 5th place. Speaking of 5th place, he's in 5th place. He will have to stop again, remember, so he's on the mediums.
Here comes Bach. Here comes Zapala, wants no part of this. Bach is forced to the outside. Zapala takes the inside line. Will the German yield? Well, which German? This which one? Gimano or Yannick? That's which one you're asking about, but it is Zapala who has to yield. Bach through to P7. One more, and it's his teammate ahead. So expect some team orders if he catches up.
Absolutely, and like I said, Ragusa will have to pit as well, so Ragusa will have to try and overtake him. So Yannick should, after these 3 pits, should be ahead of them, so he would be back into 4th place, which is pretty, considering he was down in 26th place, no, 23rd place at one point. It's not a bad recovery.
It was a dramatic start this race, remember. Cars left, right and centre go all over the place, but Yannick Bock has recovered brilliantly from that, and it would be a champion's drive if he won it today.
I mean, he's got, like I said, he's got every chance that he will do. Gorby has not only pulled a 2-second gap now out on Kilk, he is now... He's 18 seconds ahead of Box, so he's going to have to try and really put the hammer down if he wants to try and come out ahead of him. Should be able to get ahead of Zapala now. Zapala 19 seconds back, so he should be within a couple of laps enough to get through on him. Kilk is the one who's going to have to really try and push now to try and make that gap, because he's only 17 ahead of Zapala, obviously being 2 seconds back, so he's going to have to real push some time. Madden Maguire just set a new best lap of his own race.
He has, yeah, new PB for Adam Maguire, but 1:35 dead for Gorby was the last lap. He seems to have stuck the afterburners on to Lee Davison. Indication he's coming in soon, perhaps.
Eventually, and I mean, yeah, he could stick a set of soft mediums on and go to the end. That wouldn't be a problem either. I think he'll probably go for the soft and go a little bit longer, as Zapala has a look at Bock, but can't quite make that move stick. But yeah, I think they'll be waiting a little bit. Like I said, I think we'll see him in about 38, and then we'll see him onto the softs at the end. But Kilk's the really one. He's got to get a bit of a move on now. He's got to try. He's losing a lot of time. He's just done quite a slow lap there. So Gorby's just come across the line and done a 35.3, a good lap there from Gorby considering his tyres. Kilk's just done a 36.2, so Kilk's tyres really are starting to fade away at this point in the race.
Yeah, Kilk could be losing his tyres. Gorby could just be on a hot streak. Wright needs to do something if those tyres are going, like come in and get a fresh set, really, because he does not want to squander his chance at a race win. Although you could argue he's already doing it by losing a nice amount of time to Gorby. If those tyres are going, it's time to come in, because that's all he can really do. He needs to stay on pace.
Here we go. So now you look at this. Now Yannick Bock's clear. 35.3 from him, 35.3 from Zapala, and 35.6 from Panzer. He's actually going to take Zapala and Panzer with him. But he's just taken half a second out of everyone in front of him, except for Kilk, who he's just taken a second out of.
8 seconds separate him and his teammate. I expect some switching of positions once they get to each other, possibly through DRS. But Bock, I think now, one position, and the pressure is off, really. All he has to do is hold formation from there.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for Bock, if I'm honest at this point. I think Jonas are just going to be focusing on trying to finish ahead of both Evolutions, just to try and strengthen their championship claim in the team championship. But who knows? This race isn't over yet. We've seen Bock have an incident towards the end of a race before. We've seen him make mistakes, so nothing's over for Adam yet.
I remember a couple of races ago, actually, Adam Maguire was well and firmly back in contention, but he said he wasn't even focusing on the drivers. He was more worried about the teams. So I think that may be what Adonis Engineer would have done this race. Is it possible to suggest, perhaps even, that they conceded the drivers before the race started and just focused on the teams as Ragusa comes in?
Potentially, it's very much so, could be. Obviously, I think Adam will have it in the back of his mind. I think he'd be lying if he said he didn't. It might only be a very, very small part in his back of his mind, but he will be thinking about it. But like I said, he can only do what he wants to do. Obviously, like I said in the pre-race, they really want to win this for Menno more than anything. So that's what they'll be aiming for. But interestingly, so Ragusa comes in, like you say. He only did 16 laps on those mediums last time out. So he's got back into another set of mediums. He will take these to the end, I imagine, 22 laps. So now it'll be interesting to see what Gorby does. When does Gorby come in? Does he try and come in? Look at that. It's a bit of a nasty bit of a gap there. Ragusa's come out. It's just behind Keersmakers and Hoyer. But so actually, he's lost about 20 seconds there. It's quite a good stop there from the Brucey boys. So Gorby, now will he come in and try to make this stick?
He'd come out behind Panzar if he did. I think it would be well advised at this point, because he'd come out in relatively clean air and he might be able to make it work. Right, Kelk would be a bit more of a sketchy possibility. Matty Bleineck might get through, but yeah, I think they should be considering it at this point in time, if only to get out in clear air. But we'll have to see if they do as this race gets past 60% distance. And Yannick Bock is in P6 now. There is the magic number. He will win the championship if the result stays they are now.
Yep, so he's just got 21 laps to go at the end of this lap to achieve that, become a double champion, one of our only few select few that we have in GPVWC history, joining the likes of Joe Consiglio, Tanskinen, and who else has won it a couple of times? There's someone, David Fylock, obviously champion as well, so double-time champion. So the illustrious names to be joining if he was to do it today.
Kilk in, obviously rightly so, and he comes in for new tyres. New mediums, yep, they'll see him to the end of the race easily. We'll have to see where Golby comes in, but where is Kilk going to come out? Bleineck, I think he's going to get past. It'll be touch and go. Oh, it's going to be, actually, he might even, he's obviously going to be worried about a couple of cars behind, but Matty Bleineck doesn't get through, and now he has to lap this green stripe. So, yeah, this has worked out all right.
So not only that, so look at that. So he's about 3.5 seconds back from Panzer. Now's the gap to Gorby. So Gorby is going to come